The smoke comes first from the east. Katerina Volkova stands at her third-floor window, watching the horizon darken. Not the clean smoke of morning cooking fires, not the sweet smoke of autumn leaf burning. This smoke carries the smell of gunpowder, of burning timber, of something vast and terrible approaching. It is 4:27 in the morning, September 14th, 1812. Behind her, the icon lamp flickers before the family shrine. 23 generations of Volkovs have prayed before these icons. 23 generations have built their fortunes in this house on Tverskaya Street, 3 blocks from the Kremlin walls. Below in the courtyard, horses whinny, wagon wheels creak. The city is emptying. Her husband Pyotr stands beside her now. His hand finds hers, neither speaks. Through the pre-dawn darkness, they watch Moscow's eastern gates. The Kaluga road chokes with refugees, hundreds, thousands, an endless river of humanity flowing away from the rising sun, away from Napoleon. The French Emperor's Grand Armée, 450,000 strong, when it crossed the Niemen River in June, has carved through Russia like God's own scourge. Vilna fell, Vitebsk fell, Smolensk burned for 3 days. At Borodino, 1 week ago, 70,000 men died in a single afternoon. Now Napoleon stands at Moscow's gates. Katerina feels her daughter Maria press against her side. 11 years old, too young to remember anything but peace, too old not to understand what war means. "Mama," Maria whispers, "why are they burning the grain warehouses?" Katerina has no answer, or rather, she has the answer given by Governor Rostopchin's proclamation, read yesterday in the Kremlin Square: leave nothing for the invader, not food, not shelter, not hope. Scorched earth. A rooster crows. The first light touches the golden domes of the Kremlin cathedrals. The smoke thickens. Pyotr turns from the window. His voice is steady, but Katerina knows him. She hears the tremor beneath. "We leave in 2 hours," he says. "Take only what we can carry." His mother, Pyotr's mother, Babushka Anna, sits by the stove. 74 years old. She has not moved since midnight, has not spoken since the evacuation order came. This house, Babushka Anna says finally, has stood for 163 years. "The house will stand," Pyotr says, but they all know he is lying. Katerina crosses to the family shrine. The icons gleam in the lamplight. St. Nicholas, the Vladimir Mother of God, Christ Pantocrator, stern and merciful. Her hands shake as she reaches for the oldest icon. 13th century, brought from Novgorod when her husband's ancestors first came to Moscow, painted on wood worn smooth by generations of kisses. How do you pack 300 years of faith into a single wagon? How do you choose between salvation and memory? The smoke thickens. The light grows. The city's church bells begin to ring, not the joyful pealing of Sunday morning, but the frantic clanging of alarm. Katerina lifts the ancient icon from its place. The morning has begun. The Volkov household wakes to chaos. Not the chaos of attack, the French are still hours away, but the chaos of abandonment, the chaos of a city tearing itself apart from the inside. Katerina moves through rooms she has known for 18 years, since her wedding day, since Pyotr brought her here as a bride of 16, nervous and hopeful and impossibly young. Every corner holds memory. The dining room where Maria took her first steps, the kitchen where she taught the cook to make her grandmother's honey cakes, the bedroom where she labored 23 hours to bring Dmitri into the world. Dmitri, now 9 years old, currently helping his father in the courtyard, trying to be brave, trying to be a man. But memories cannot be packed. Memories do not fit in wagons. She stands in the library, floor-to-ceiling shelves, her father-in-law's collection, books in Russian, French, German, Latin. Medical texts. He was a surgeon, served with the army before retiring to manage the family trading business. Philosophy, history, poetry. Pyotr appears in the doorway. We can take perhaps 20 volumes, he says. Choose carefully. 20 volumes from 2000. Katerina runs her fingers along leather spines. Which words are worth saving? Which thoughts deserve to survive? She pulls down a French grammar. Maria will need to continue her education. A volume of Pushkin, still controversial, but beautiful. A Bible, her father-in-law's medical diary. 18 more to choose. She cannot move. Pyotr touches her shoulder. Whatever you choose will be right. But nothing about this morning is right. Downstairs, the servants are packing. 4 house serfs, technically free since her father-in-law freed them in his will, but still bound to the household by choice and circumstance. Marfa, the cook 60 years old, weeping silently as she wraps the good silver in cloth. Ivan, the groom, 23, packing the wagon with military precision. Young Sonia, the maid, 16, stands frozen in the hallway. She holds a Chinese vase, 200 years old, worth 300 rubles. I don't know where to put it, Sonia whispers. Katerina takes the vase gently, sets it on the table. Leave it, she says. But Barinya, leave it. What is porcelain compared to life? In the courtyard, the wagon waits. A single wagon for 9 people, Katerina and Pyotr, their 2 children, Babushka Anna, the 4 servants, for the possessions of 6 rooms, for 3 centuries of accumulated life. The wagon bed measures 12 feet by 6 feet, 72 square feet to contain everything they are. Pyotr has already loaded the essentials: flour, salt pork, dried fish, a barrel of pickled cabbage, 2 barrels of water, blankets, his hunting rifle, ammunition, the strong box containing 2,800 rubles in paper currency and 47 gold imperials. Everything else is choice. Everything else is loss. The morning sun climbs higher. The smoke grows thicker. Through the courtyard gates, Katerina watches the endless procession: peasant carts, merchant wagons, noble carriages, all heading west, all fleeing. The sound is like nothing she has ever heard. Thousands of wheels on cobblestones, thousands of voices shouting, weeping, praying, the bellowing of oxen, the whinnying of horses, church bells ringing and ringing and ringing. Moscow is dying. No, not dying, evacuating. There is a difference. Governor Rostopchin promises the Tsar will return, promises Napoleon will be defeated, promises Moscow will rise again. But Babushka Anna stands in the doorway, leaning on her cane, and her face says what no one else will speak aloud. She will never see this house again. Come, Babushka, Katerina says gently. We must finish packing. I am packed. The old woman gestures to a small bundle: 1 dress, a prayer book, a shawl. Babushka, you need more than... I need nothing more than this. There is finality in her voice. Not resignation, something harder, something that has calculated the mathematics of survival and reached a conclusion the young cannot yet accept. Dmitri runs into the courtyard, 9 years old, his face flushed with excitement that does not yet understand to be fear. Papa says I can ride on the wagon seat, he announces. Papa says I can help drive. Maria follows more slowly, 11 years old enough to see what her brother cannot. The tears streak her face. Can we take Mishka? She asks, clutching her cloth doll. Yes, my love. Can we take Papa's chess set? Pyotr appears carrying a crate, already packed. Can we take the piano? Silence. The piano stands in the sitting room, German-made, Katerina's wedding gift from her parents. She has played it every evening for 18 years, taught Maria her first scales on its ivory keys. No, my love, Katerina says. The piano stays. Maria's face crumples, not with childish tantrum, but with real grief, the grief of understanding. Pyotr kneels before his daughter, takes her hands. When we return, he says, the piano will be here. You will play it again, I promise. Another lie, a necessary lie, a father's lie. The church bells ring 7 times. 7 o'clock, 5 hours since dawn, 3 hours since the evacuation order. We leave in 1 hour, Pyotr announces. 1 hour to say goodbye to a lifetime? The street outside the Volkov house churns with humanity. Katerina has walked Tverskaya Street 1,000 times, knows every shop, every doorway, every cobblestone, the baker on the corner, the icon painter's studio, the tavern where Pyotr meets his merchant friends to discuss business and politics over vodka and pickled herring. All closed now, all abandoned, but not all empty. As Ivan guides the wagon through the courtyard gates, Katerina sees them, the looters, men moving through abandoned shops, smashing windows, carrying away what the owners left behind. Not soldiers, not French, Russians, Muscovites, neighbors. War strips away pretense faster than fire strips away paint. Do not look, Pyotr says, from beside her on the wagon seat. But how can she not look? This is her city tearing itself apart. They turn west onto Tverskaya, the main thoroughfare, usually bustling with commerce, now clogged with exodus. The wagon moves at a crawl, sometimes stops completely. The crowd presses close, faces stream past. Some Katerina recognizes, the wine merchant from 2 streets over, the printer who produces the Moscow Gazette, the widow Ivanova with her 6 children, their possessions piled on a handcart the 2 oldest boys struggle to push. Katerina Petrovna, widow Ivanova cries out, do you have room, the children? But there is no room. The wagon strains already under its load. I am sorry, Katerina calls back. I am so sorry. Widow Ivanova's face hardens, nods, understands. This is the new mathematics. Survival divides. Compassion is a luxury that weighs too much. They pass the Church of the Ascension. Father Innocenti stands on the steps, not evacuating, staying. Someone must tend the icons. Someone must guard the sacred. He makes the sign of the cross as the wagon passes, blesses them. His face is calm, resigned, already a martyr. How many priests will die this week? The crowd thickens near the Kremlin gates. The fortress walls rise golden in the morning sun. Inside, Governor Rostopchin is coordinating the final evacuations, the archives, the treasury, the miracle-working icon of the Iberian Mother of God, carried out at midnight, hidden, protected. But the Kremlin itself will remain. You cannot evacuate stone, cannot move 500 years of architecture. Napoleon will dine tonight in the Tsar's private chambers. The thought makes Katerina sick. Mama. Maria tugs her sleeve, points. On the street corner, a man in a merchant's coat stands perfectly still, does not move as the crowd flows around him. His face is blank, shocked beyond response. Pyotr follows Katerina's gaze, shakes his head. Some cannot accept it, he murmurs. They will stay. They will hide in cellars and attics. They think Napoleon is civilized. They think the French will behave as guests. Will they? Pyotr does not answer, does not need to. They both know the stories from Smolensk, from Vitebsk, from every city the Grande Armée has occupied. Starvation, disease, violence, the slow grinding death of occupation. The wagon inches forward. They pass the university, the noble assembly, buildings that represent everything Moscow aspires to be. Culture, learning, civilization. All will be looted by week's end. At the Arbat gate, soldiers check papers. Not French soldiers, not yet, but Russian home guard. Old men and boys, armed with pikes and ancient muskets, a last desperate gesture of order. Pyotr hands up their travel documents. The guard barely glances at them. "Where are you headed?" the guard asks. "Kaluga. My brother has an estate there." A lie. Pyotr's brother died 3 years ago. But the guard does not check, does not care. He waves them through. Beyond the gate, the city opens into suburbs. Then countryside. The road climbs a hill. At the top, Ivan stops the wagon. They all turn, look back. Moscow spreads below them. Golden domes catching the sun, white walls gleaming. The Kremlin at the center, like a great beating heart. Beautiful, eternal, doomed. "We should go," Pyotr says quietly, but no one moves. They stare, memorize this moment, this view, this last glimpse of the world they know. Then Maria speaks, her voice small, certain. "It is burning, Papa." They all see it then. Not imagination, not fear, real smoke, real flames, rising from the eastern districts. Governor Rostopchin's scorched earth order has begun. Ivan snaps the reins. The wagon lurches forward. Moscow falls behind them. They do not look back again. The road west becomes a river of suffering. Thousands of refugees, tens of thousands. The entire population of Moscow fleeing down 3 main roads, the Kaluga Road south, the Smolensk Road west, the Vladimir Road north. The Volkovs chose Kaluga. Pyotr's false story of a brother's estate gives them a destination, a reason for the gods, a hope to cling to. But hope is a luxury that fades with each passing hour. By noon, the wagon has traveled 8 versts, 5 miles. At this pace, Kaluga, 200 versts away, will take 2 weeks to reach, if they reach it at all. The sun climbs. September in Russia still carries summer's heat. Dust rises from thousands of feet, thousands of wheels. It coats everything, gets in eyes, in throats, turns spit to mud. Dmitri coughs, drinks from the water barrel, coughs again. Slowly, Katerina warns, "We must ration." Dmitri's face falls. He is 9, does not yet understand that water, like everything else, has become precious beyond measure. They pass abandoned wagons, broken wheels, dead horses, families sitting beside the road, too exhausted to continue, waiting for something: rescue, strength, death. No one stops to help. No one has strength to spare. A scream cuts through the afternoon air. Ivan pulls up sharply. Ahead, the crowd swirls. A disturbance, a fight. 2 men grapple in the middle of the road. One merchant class, well-fed, one peasant, gaunt. They struggle over a sack of grain. "Mine!" the merchant shouts. "Fell from my cart." "Finders," the peasant snarls. "My children are starving." Others gather, taking sides, or waiting to see who wins so they can steal from both. Pyotr stands in the wagon. His voice carries authority. Enough. Share it. Both men turn. The merchant's face darkens. Who are you to give orders? A man trying to keep us all alive. For a moment, violence hangs in the air. The crowd could turn, could become a mob, could tear apart anyone, anything, just to feel power over something. Then a woman's voice, old, cracked with age. The gentleman is right. Share it. The French will have it all otherwise. Babushka Anna has spoken, the weight of 74 years behind her words. The tension breaks. The two men divide the grain roughly, both dissatisfied, both alive. The crowd moves on. Pyotr sits back down. His hands shake. Thank you, Babushka, Katerina whispers. The old woman says nothing, stares ahead, conserving energy, conserving words. By mid-afternoon, they reach a crossroads. A church stands at the intersection, small, wooden, barely more than a chapel, but its doors are open. Inside, refugees crowd the floor, praying, resting, seeking sanctuary. We should stop, Katerina says. Water the horses. Rest. Pyotr looks at the sun. Still 3 hours of daylight left. An hour, he agrees. No more. They pull into the churchyard. Ivan unhitches the horses, leads them to the well. The well is surrounded by people, 30, 40, all wanting water, all pushing, shoving. Form a line. A priest shouts from the church steps. Young, perhaps 25, his voice hoarse from shouting. Form a line and we all drink. Push and some will die of thirst. The crowd subsides. Barely, forms a ragged queue. Katerina helps Babushka Anna down from the wagon. The old woman's legs tremble, cannot support her. How long since you ate? Katerina asks. I am not hungry. A lie. But Babushka Anna has been lying about hunger since they left Moscow, eating half portions, giving the rest to the children. Katerina knows what this means, has seen it before. Old people deciding they are already lived, making room for the young. You will eat, Katerina says firmly. Now. She fetches dried fish and black bread from the wagon stores, watches as Babushka Anna chews slowly, swallows, each bite an act of will. Inside the church, Maria and Dmitri kneel before the iconostasis. Their lips move in prayer. What do they pray for? Home? Safety? An end to this nightmare? Katerina joins them, kneels, the stone floor hard against her knees. She tries to pray, cannot find words. Her mind is too full of calculation. Water remaining, food remaining, distance to cover, strength left in the horses, strength left in them all. Prayer requires faith that God is listening. Today, Katerina is not sure. A commotion outside, shouting, not violence this time, something else. She rises, moves to the church door. A rider gallops through the crossroads, does not stop, headed east, back toward Moscow. The French are in the city, he shouts as he passes. Napoleon entered at noon. Moscow is taken. Silence, complete silence. Even the children stop their noise. Moscow has fallen. Everyone knew it would happen. Everyone expected it. But knowing and experiencing are different things. Katerina feels the world tilt, stumbles, catches herself on the doorframe. Her city, her home, her life, gone. Pyotr is beside her, his arm around her waist. It was already gone, he says quietly. We knew this, but knowing does not ease the pain. Inside the church, someone begins to weep. Then another, then dozens. The sound builds like a storm. not just sadness, grief, pure existential grief. The young priest climbs to the iconostasis platform, raises his arms, his voice cuts through the weeping. Moscow has fallen, he says, but Russia stands, the Tsar lives, the army retreats, but it is not defeated. Napoleon has taken a city, he has not taken our souls. Brave words, true words, necessary words, but they do not bring Moscow back. Katerina feels Maria press against her. Dmitri takes her hand. They stand together in the church doorway, watching refugees weep, watching their world end. How long before the French come this far? Maria asks. Pyotr calculates. 2 days, perhaps 3. They will rest in Moscow, loot, reorganize. Then they will spread out, forage for supplies. Then we must move faster. Yes, but the horses are exhausted, the road is clogged, and every hour they become weaker. The mathematics of survival grow grimmer. They eat beneath a stand of birch trees, half a verst from the church. Cold kasha, dried fish, water that tastes of road dust, but food nonetheless, fuel to continue. Katerina portions it carefully, watches each person eat, makes sure Babushka Anna swallows every bite, even as the old woman protests. You are wasting food on the dead, Babushka Anna says bluntly. You are not dead, not yet. But soon. The words hang in the autumn air. No one contradicts her. They all see the truth. Babushka Anna grows weaker each hour. The wagon jolts. The heat drains. The journey stretches endlessly. She will not survive to Kaluga. Perhaps she does not intend to. Pyotr walks the horses, checks their hooves, their legs, runs his hands along their flanks, feeling for injuries. Ivan joins him. The young groom's face is grave. The mare favors her left fore, Ivan says quietly. Not bad yet, but it will worsen. Can she continue? For now. Tomorrow? Ivan shrugs. Maybe, maybe not. More grim mathematics. A wagon needs 2 horses. 1 horse cannot pull this load, cannot pull any load with 9 passengers and all these supplies. If the mare fails, they must abandon the wagon, split the party. Some walk, some ride. Who walks? Who rides? Who decides? These are the questions that break families, that turn love into brutal calculus. Katerina sees Pyotr and Ivan talking, sees their faces, understands. She rises, brushes the dust from her dress, crosses to her husband. The horse? She asks. Pyotr nods. She may last to Kaluga, she may not. If not, we walk, carry what we can. Katerina looks at the wagon, at the supplies, the icons, the books, the strong box with their savings, everything they managed to save. How much can we carry? 20 pounds each, perhaps 30 for Ivan and myself. She does the mathematics. 9 people, 200 pounds of supplies. The wagon carries over 1,000 pounds. They will lose 80% of everything they saved. There is another option, Ivan says hesitantly. Both turn to him. We could take only essential supplies, lighten the load now. The mare might last. What would we leave? Pyotr asks. The books, the chess set, the extra clothing, the icons except for one. Anything that is not food, water, money, or weapons. Silence. These are the things they left Moscow to save, the fragments of civilization, the proof they were once more than refugees. No, Pyotr says. Not yet. Ivan nods. Accepts, but his eyes say what he will not speak. You are choosing sentiment over survival. Maybe he is right. Maria appears. 11 years old. Her cloth doll Mishka clutched tight. Papa, That family over there, they have 5 children. The baby is crying. Can we give them some food? Pyotr looks where she points. A peasant family rests beneath a tree. The mother nurses an infant. 3 other children cluster close. Their faces hollow. Maria, we barely have enough for ourselves. But they have a baby. We have a babushka. The words are harsh, deliberately harsh, teaching his daughter the cruelty this new world requires. Maria's face crumples. She runs back to the wagon, climbs in beside babushka Anna, weeps. Katerina touches Pyotr's arm. That was too cruel. Was it? Should I lie to her instead? Tell her we can save everyone? That goodness is enough? She is 11. She is a refugee in a country at war. 11 is old enough for truth. He is right. He is cruel. Both things are true. Katerina walks to the wagon, finds Maria sobbing against babushka Anna's shoulder. The old woman strokes her granddaughter's hair. Hush, child, babushka Anna murmurs. Your father is not wrong. We cannot save everyone. But perhaps... She reaches into her small bundle, pulls out a heel of black bread, her evening ration, hands it to Maria. Give them this. Tell them it is from an old woman who has eaten enough bread in her life. Maria stares at the bread, then at her great-grandmother. Understanding passes between them, some knowledge that passes from old to young, skipping the middle generation entirely. Maria takes the bread, climbs down from the wagon, walks to the peasant family, offers it. The mother's face breaks into tears. She crosses herself, kisses Maria's hand. Pyotr watches this, says nothing, but Katerina sees his jaw tighten, sees him turn away. The sun begins its descent toward evening. Time to move. They harness the horses. The mare limps slightly as Ivan leads her to the wagon, just slightly. But tomorrow it will be worse. 15 more versts before dark, Pyotr says. We can make it. They climb aboard. The wagon groans under their weight. The wheels creak. The mare tosses her head, reluctant. Then they are moving again, joining the endless river of refugees flowing west. Away from Moscow, away from Napoleon, toward Kaluga, toward survival, toward whatever comes next. Behind them, smoke still rises from the east. Moscow burns, Napoleon has his prize, but the prize is ashes. The sun sets blood red through the smoke. They are 23 versts from Moscow, 14 miles. A good day's travel under normal circumstances, but these are not normal circumstances. The road remains choked, the pace remains agonizing, the horses grow weaker with each step. Pyotr guides the wagon into a grove of pine trees off the main road. A dozen other families have already claimed spaces among the trees. Campfires flicker, children cry. Adults speak in low, exhausted voices. We camp here tonight, Pyotr announces. Ivan unhitches the horses, waters them from a nearby stream. Katerina unloads the cooking pot, builds a fire. The simple, domestic actions feel surreal, as if they are on a holiday, a pleasant autumn excursion, not fleeing for their lives. Marfa, the cook, prepares kasha with dried mushrooms. Not much, barely enough, but warm. That matters. They eat in silence. Even Dmitri, usually chattering, says nothing, just chews mechanically, swallows, stares at the fire. Babushka Anna eats half her portion, sets the rest aside. I am full, she says. Babushka, I am full. Pyotr takes the old woman's bowl, scrapes the remaining kasha into Dmitri's bowl. The boy's eyes widen. He looks to his mother. Eat, Katerina says. Babushka has already eaten. More lies. The lies that keep families together, that let children sleep. Darkness falls completely. The forest fills with sounds, coughing, weeping, praying. Somewhere, a baby screams and screams and screams. Maria curls against Katerina's side. Will we ever go home? Of course, my love. When? When the French leave. When the Tsar returns. When? A shout cuts through the night. Then another shout, men's voices, angry, frightened. Raiders! Someone screams. Raiders in the camp. Piotr leaps up, grabs his rifle. Other men scramble. The camp explodes into chaos. Katerina pulls Maria and Dmitri close, peers through the darkness. Figures move between the campfires. Not French soldiers, Russians, men in peasant clothes, some armed with clubs, some with knives, desperate men, dangerous men. They target isolated wagons, smash open supply boxes, grab what they can, run before defenders arrive. One figure approaches the Volkov wagon, young, thin, a boy no older than 16. Piotr raises his rifle. Stop. The boy freezes. His eyes dart. Calculating, how serious is this man? Will he really shoot? I have children starving, the boy says. So do I. Please. Just some bread. Anything. Piotr's hands shake. The rifle wavers. Katerina holds her breath. Will he shoot? Can he shoot? This boy could be someone's son, someone's brother, but he is also a thief, a threat. Go, Piotr says. Walk away. Now. The boy hesitates. Behind him, one of his companions shouts, Come on, we got enough. The boy backs away, melts into darkness, gone. Piotr lowers the rifle, sits heavily. His face is gray. I could have killed him, he whispers. You did not. I should have. He will come back. He or others like him. We are targets now. A family with supplies. He is right. The refugee column is becoming predatory. The weak preying on the weak. Desperation metastasizing into violence. We need help, Ivan says. Other families. Band together. Who? Everyone is strangers. Everyone is desperate. Then we take turns on watch. All night. Every night. Piotr nods. Assigns shifts. Himself first. Then Ivan. Then young Sonia. The maid. Everyone except Babushka, Anna, and the children. The night stretches. Katerina lies beside Maria and Dmitri, both children pressed against her. She does not sleep, cannot sleep. Every sound is a threat, every shadow a raider. At midnight, the baby stops screaming. The silence is worse than the screaming. At 2 a.m, someone lights a fire too close to their wagon. Piotr has to negotiate, trade a measure of salt for the family to move their fire. Salt they cannot spare, but better than burning. At 4 a.m, a rider gallops through the camp, does not stop, headed west. His voice carries, The French are leaving Moscow. They march west. They will catch us. Panic ripples through the camp. Families leap up, start packing by firelight. The road will be even more clogged tomorrow, the crush even worse. But what choice is there? Stay and be overtaken, move and be crushed? Piotr makes the decision. We leave at first light, not before. The horses need rest. 3 hours of rest. 3 hours that might cost them their lead, might put French outriders on their heels. Katerina closes her eyes, tries to pray, cannot find the words. God feels very far away tonight. Dawn comes gray and cold. Frost coats the grass. September turning toward October, winter approaching. Winter and Napoleon's army, both at their backs. The camp is already breaking when Katerina wakes. Families rush to pack, fight for positions on the road. The civilized facade of yesterday has crumbled completely. Hurry, Pyotr urges. We need to join the flow early, or we will be stuck all day. They load the wagon in frantic silence. No breakfast, no time. Grab dried fish, chew as they work. Every minute matters. Ivan brings the horses. The mare limps worse than yesterday, much worse. Pyotr Mikhailovich, Ivan says quietly, she will not make it to Kaluga. How far? Today, maybe tomorrow. Not more. The calculation is simple, brutal. They must decide now. Lighten the load or lose everything later. Pyotr stands silent, staring at the wagon. At 300 years of his family's life, packed into 72 square feet. Start unloading, he says finally. The books first. Katerina's heart breaks, but she moves. No time for sentiment, no time for grief. They stack books beside the road. 20 volumes becomes 15, becomes 10, becomes 5, then just 2. The Bible and her father-in-law's medical diary. The rest philosophy, poetry, history, left for whoever finds them, or for the rain, the snow, the slow dissolution of paper back into earth. The chess set, her wedding pearls, Pyotr's father's silver watch, extra blankets, 2 icons. Each item removed is a small death. Maria watches, crying silently. Dmitri's face is stone. Babushka Anna climbs down from the wagon, stands on the frost-hard ground. Leave my things, she says. Babushka, no. I am done riding. I will walk. My bundle stays. You cannot walk to Kaluga. The old woman smiles. Gentle, sad, final. I know, child. Understanding crashes over Katerina like cold water. Babushka Anna is not planning to reach Kaluga. She is planning to die on this road. No, Katerina says. No, you ride. We will find another way. There is no other way. Babushka Anna touches Katerina's cheek. I have lived 74 years, good years, full years. That is enough. Your children have lived 10 years, 11 years. That is not enough. They ride, I walk. Babushka. This is not a discussion, Katerina Petrovna. This is mathematics. Old bones weigh less than young futures. Pyotr stands frozen. His mother, his last parent, offering herself like Abraham's ram, caught in the thicket of war, sacrificed so others might live. Mama, he whispers, please, Petrusha. She uses his childhood name, strokes his face. I am so proud of you, of the man you became, the family you built. Now keep them alive. That is what a man does. He keeps his family alive. She turns to Maria and Dmitri, kneels with difficulty, takes their hands. Remember me, she says simply. Tell your children about me. That is how old women live forever. She kisses each child, rises, picks up her small bundle. I will walk with the Ivanov family, the widow with 6 children. She needs help. I have help to give. Before anyone can protest further, she walks away, crosses the camp, joins the widow Ivanova and her children. The widow's face shows surprise, then understanding, then gratitude. 2 babushkas are better than 1. Katerina watches through tears, watches Babushka Anna become smaller, smaller, finally disappearing into the mass of refugees. Gone. Pyotr stands rigid, his face a mask. Then suddenly he moves. grabs the remaining icons, all except the 13th century Novgorod piece, stacks them beside the road. Everything else goes, he says roughly. Everything that is not food, water, money, or weapons. They strip the wagon to essentials. Within an hour, the load is halved. The mare stands straighter, ready to try, ready to live another day. They join the road. The crush is worse than yesterday. Thousands upon thousands. The rumor of French pursuit has turned the evacuation into a rout. Beside them, a family argues. The husband wants to abandon their furniture. The wife refuses. They shout. He hits her. She hits back. Their children watch, hollow-eyed. War reveals what is hidden in peace, shows what people truly value when everything is stripped away. Some cling to possessions, some to people, some to nothing at all. Just keep moving because movement is the only action left. The Volkovs move west. The road climbs into hills, forests close on both sides. The air grows colder. Smoke still rises behind them, though Moscow is now beyond the horizon. At noon, they pass an abandoned wagon, a noble's carriage, trunks scattered around it, silk dresses trampled in the mud, a child's toy, a wooden horse lying in the road. No sign of the family. Did they find other transport, walk, die? No one stops to check. By evening, they have covered 20 versts, a good day, maybe their last good day if the rumors are true, if the French are coming. They camp in another grove, build another fire, eat another meager meal. But tonight, Babushka Anna's absence is a wound that will not close. Maria weeps. Why did she leave? Katerina holds her daughter. Searches for words that will explain what should never need explanation, that war is not fair, that survival is not guaranteed, that sometimes love means leaving. She left so you could live, Katerina says finally. But I want her to live too. So do I, my love. So do I. The night falls. The fire burns low. Dmitri sleeps. Maria sleeps. Pyotr stares at the flames. She was right, he says finally. The mathematics. I hate her for being right. Katerina takes his hand. They sit in silence, mourning, surviving, continuing. Because that is what Babushka Anna bought with her sacrifice. The ability to continue, they will not waste it. 5 days, 74 versts, 46 miles from Moscow. The mare failed on the 4th day, collapsed mid-morning, could not rise. Ivan wept as Pyotr shot her, mercy killing, quick death instead of slow. They abandoned the wagon, loaded packs, everything they could carry, 40 pounds each for the adults, 20 for the children, the rest left beside the road. The 13th century icon, the strongbox with the money, flour, salt pork, water skins, the hunting rifle, 5 blankets, the clothes on their backs, nothing else. They walk now, join the endless shuffling mass, feet blistered, backs aching, hunger a constant companion, but alive, still alive. The weather has turned, rain, cold, October approaching. The first snow will come within weeks, then winter, then the true test. Can refugees survive a Russian winter with nothing? Katerina does not let herself think that far ahead. Today, that is the only reality. Survive today. Tomorrow can wait. They pass groups sitting beside the road, too tired to continue. Some will rest and rise. Some will rest and die. You can see it in their faces, which have chosen life, which have chosen surrender. She thinks of Babushka Anna. 5 days behind them. Did she reach this far, or did she stop sooner? Did she die knowing she gave her grandchildren life? Katerina prays it was quick. Prays the old woman's heart simply stopped. Prayed herself to death beside the road. Better that than slow freezing, than starvation, than what French foragers do to civilians they catch. Mama, I am hungry. Dimitri's voice is small. I know, my love. Tonight we eat. Their ration is now 1 meal per day. Evening, kasha and whatever they can forage. Yesterday, mushrooms. Today, maybe nothing. Starvation is mathematical. The body burns itself. Fat first, then muscle, then organs. How long before they are too weak to walk? 2 weeks? 3? There, Ivan points ahead. A village appears over the next rise. Small, maybe 40 houses. Smoke rises from chimneys. Signs of life. Hope flares. Maybe they can buy food, trade. Pyotr still has gold coins hidden in his boot. But as they approach, they see. The village is already overwhelmed. Refugees fill every space. Camp in gardens, in barns, in the street itself, and villagers stand guard. Men with clubs, protecting their own. No more, one shouts as the Volkovs approach. We have nothing left. No food, no space. Keep moving. Please, Pyotr says. Just one night. We can pay. With what? Your paper rubles? Worthless. The French will be here in days, weeks. What good is money when soldiers take everything? He is not wrong. The whole economy has collapsed. Money is only valuable if there is something to buy, something that will not be seized. They move on, keep walking. The village falls behind. Katerina feels herself breaking, not physically, mentally. The constant weight, the constant fear, the constant calculation. It erodes the soul like water erodes stone. She understands now why people sit down beside the road, why they choose to stop. It is not cowardice. It is exhaustion that goes beyond flesh, exhaustion of the spirit. She looks at Maria, Dimitri. They walk mechanically. No complaints, no questions. Just place one foot ahead of the other. Again, again, again. They are children. They should be playing, learning, growing, not stumbling down a refugee road, starving, terrified, watching their world collapse. Pyotr, she says quietly, how much further? To Kaluga, 126 versts, 78 miles. At their current pace, 15 versts per day, 8 more days of walking. Can they survive 8 more days? She looks at her husband, really looks. He has aged 10 years in 10 days. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, his hands shake constantly. He does not sleep, cannot sleep, watches through every night, rifle ready, protecting them from threats real and imagined. He is killing himself to keep them alive. Pyotr, she says again, what if we do not reach Kaluga? He stops walking, turns to her. His eyes are haunted. Then we die trying. What else is there? And that is the truth, the simple, brutal truth. They can keep walking or they can stop. Those are the only choices, and stopping is death. So they walk. The sun sets. They camp in a field. No trees, no shelter, just open ground and cold wind. Katerina builds a fire from dried grass and cow dung, boils water, makes kasha from their last measure of groats. Tomorrow they will have only salt, pork, and whatever they can forage. They eat, sleep, wake in darkness when sentries shout warnings, false alarm, just another refugee family passing in the night. Sleep again, wake at dawn, pack, walk, again, again, again. This is their life now. This is survival. This mundane, grinding, endless endurance. But they endure. For Babushka Anna, who gave her life. For the Volkov name that stretches back 23 generations. For Moscow that will rise again. For Russia that will endure. They walk west, step by step, toward Kaluga, toward whatever waits beyond this nightmare. They walk. On the 14th day, they see it. Kaluga, the city appears on the horizon. Stone walls, church domes, safety. They have covered 200 versts, 124 miles, 14 days of walking, starving, surviving. Half the refugees who left Moscow with them are gone, dead on the road, stopped and captured by French foragers, simply disappeared into the vast refugee mass, never to be seen again. But the Volkovs survived. Katerina, Pyotr, Maria, Dmitri, Ivan, Marfa, Sonia, 7 of the original 9, a 78% survival rate. Better than most. Worse than they hoped. They enter Kaluga in the evening. The city guard checks papers, directs them to refugee camps outside the walls, massive, sprawling settlements, thousands upon thousands of Muscovites, homeless, desperate, waiting for what? For Napoleon to leave? For the Tsar to return? For the war to end? No one knows, but waiting is better than dying on the road. They are assigned a space, 10 feet by 10 feet, 100 square feet for 7 people, less than the wagon, less than anything, but it has a roof. Canvas stretched over poles, and a fire pit, and a weekly ration from the local government. It is survival. Barely, but survival nonetheless. That first night, they sleep deeply for the first time in 2 weeks. No sentries, no raiders, no French patrols, just exhausted sleep. Katerina dreams of Moscow, of their house on Tverskaya Street, of the piano in the sitting room, of Babushka Anna sitting by the stove, prayer book open on her lap. She wakes crying. Pyotr holds her, says nothing. What is there to say? They survived, others did not. That is the unfair arithmetic of war. In the morning, they begin to build a new life. Pyotr registers with the Merchant Guild. There are opportunities. Even in refugee camps, trade continues. Food, clothing, information, all are valuable. He uses the last of his gold coins to buy a small stock of supplies, will try to trade, build capital, provide for his family. Ivan finds work with a local landowner. Stable hand, poor wages, but steady. He will live apart, visit on Sundays, but he is loyal, will share what he earns. Marfa and Sonia find work in a kitchen feeding refugees. Back-breaking labor, but 2 meals per day. That is worth everything. Maria and Dmitri. There is a church school, a priest teaching children, basic literacy, catechism, continuity, some normalcy in a broken world. Life continues. Not the life they had, but life. Weeks pass. News filters through. Moscow burned for 3 days. 3/4 of the city destroyed. Napoleon occupied the ruins for 5 weeks. Waited for the Tsar to negotiate. The Tsar never came. In mid-October, the French retreat. Back the way they came, chased by Russian forces, starving, freezing, dying by the thousands. The Grande Armée, 450,000 strong in June, will leave Russia with less than 40,000 survivors. Napoleon's hubris becomes Napoleon's catastrophe. But for the Volkovs, the victory is distant, abstract. They are refugees, will be refugees through the winter, through the spring, maybe longer? When can they return to Moscow? Who knows? The city is ashes. Their house, does it still stand? Was it looted, burned, occupied? They do not know, cannot know, can only survive. Wait, hope. In November, news arrives. A list of refugees who died on the road. Names compiled by priests, by village headmen, by anyone who witnessed and remembered. Pyotr reads the list. His finger traces down the names, stops. Anna Mikhailovna Volkova, approximately 74 years old, died September 19th on the road between Maloyaroslavets and Borovsk. Buried by Orthodox rites, may her memory be eternal. September 19th, 5 days after they left Moscow, 3 days after she left them. She did not suffer long. That is mercy. Katerina weeps. Pyotr weeps. The children weep. They light candles in the refugee camp church. Pray for her soul, for her eternal rest, for the sacrifice that gave them life. Winter comes. The camp fills with snow. Cold bites deep. People die. Mostly old, mostly young. The most vulnerable always die first. But the Volkovs survive. Their tent is warm enough, their rations sufficient. Pyotr's trading brings extra food. They endure. In December, on Christmas Eve, they attend midnight liturgy. The church packed with refugees, thousands of voices singing ancient hymns. Katerina stands with her family, Maria on her left, Dmitri on her right, Pyotr behind her, his hand on her shoulder. They sing old words, old faith, old hope. Christ is born, glorify him. The candles flicker, the icons gleam, the priest's voice rises, and Katerina feels something shift, not happiness, not joy, something quieter, something harder, endurance. They survived September 14th, 1812, survived the flight from Moscow, survived 200 versts of road, survived the refugee camp winter. They will survive whatever comes next, because that is what the Volkovs do, what they have always done, what they will always do. They survive. The liturgy ends. They walk through snow back to their tent. The stars shine cold and clear. Somewhere far to the west, Napoleon retreats. Somewhere far to the east, Moscow lies in ruins. But here, now, in this moment, the Volkov family is alive, together, whole. That is victory enough. Katerina lifts her face to the stars, thinks of babushka Anna, thinks of their house, thinks of the piano she will never play again. Then she lowers her gaze, looks at her children, her husband, her future. Come, she says, let us go home. And they do. To their 10-foot tent, to their refugee life, to their survival. Home is not a place anymore. Home is not walls and roof and piano. Home is whoever you refuse to abandon, whatever you refuse to surrender, whoever survives with you through the fire. Home is family, faith, endurance. The Volkovs have lost everything, but they have this, and this is enough.